Hello and welcome back. Before we start, let me thank you so much for the comments on my recent videos and for the many people that have recently subscribed. I really appreciate it. By reading your comments, I thought there was some controversial aspects that I may not be, I don't know, maybe I was not able to get my message across. That this is, if you remember, it was about the reissues scam, because I consider that 90% of the reissues that they do these days are a rip-off, right? Because of their sound, because they have all kinds of flaws, warps, etc., right? So I just wanted to, make a statement about it. As I said, by reading the comments, I can feel that some people feel it as taking sides, like in a sport. This channel is called Vinyl in Perspective for a reason. I'm not on either side of the fence. That is, I'm not an originals only guy, right, or a vintage pressings guy, or modern vinyl reissue guy, right? I just try to take, that is why it's called in perspective. I try to take things, to take each item individually and judge what I've got on my gear and with my ears and tell you, the honest truth about it. But that doesn't mean that I absolutely dismiss or discard any modern vinyl reissues. There are some of them that are very well done. So in this video, tables will be turned. I'm going to talk about reissues, most of them, you know them, that to me sound fantastic and were worth your money. And I just wish that all reissues were done the same way, but as I said, 90% of them are not. Right, let's get on with it. Before we start, don't forget subscribing if you're not a member of the channel. We're nearly there, the 1K is nearly there, and I'm sure you're going to help me out on it, right? Diana Krall, the Vancouver jazz pianist and singer. I love this lady. I've been to 2 or 3 of her concerts. She's surrounded by great musicians. This is a compilation that was put out in 2007. Wonderful pictures, very glossy, 180-gram records, and it sounds phenomenal. Right, I'm going to show you one of the records. Right? Her voice, her presence, the piano, the guitar, the bass, it's all fantastic. Right, very clear separation, and it's a great listening experience. Right, especially for jazz enthusiasts. But even if you're not a jazz fan, I'm not really a jazz fan, but this is timeless music, right? Next one, well, it's one of the usual suspects, one we all know, right? Jethro Tull's Stand Up, right? This one comes with the hype sticker. Right? This was done by Analog Productions. It's a double 45. Fantastic, look at the jacket with the gimmick, and the sound is phenomenal. It was released, I think, a couple of years ago, and it's certainly worth considering. However, and to show you that I don't take sides, I've got a UK second pressing, and I prefer the second pressing, my UK second pressing, to this copy. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this is bad sounding vinyl or it is not very well done. Kevin Gray did a great job, right? Did a great job on this one. So if you don't want to be, on the hunt for an original, it is a good choice. I'll show you the original. Right? This is, I'm not sure whether it's a first pressing or the second batch of the first pressing. I suppose some of you will let me know that in the comments, right? I know it's the second label. This was in very good plus condition, but I gave it a good wash with the Okinoki, and it's excellent. To me, there's more presence on the original, and it sounds more natural, right? More analog sounding to me, but it's just a matter of taste. They're both really good. And talking about Jethro Tull, of course, the famous Steve Wilson remix from 2011. I never get tired of recommending this album to all my friends, to every people I know here on the channel. It is still in print. It is not expensive. It is very, very well done. Very well done. Right? There is even a download card. The only quibble might be that it's a remix, but it is very well done. It also comes from a digital source, but I mean, I just wish every digital source sounded like this. Another famous band, by Straits, right? I'll show you just one. I've got a whole collection, but I'll show you just one. This is Love of a Gold. This was done by Bernie Grunman in 2010, 2012, I can't remember. But there's been many reissues, right, of this mastering, and it is phenomenal. The jacket as well, and the lyrics, it's 180 gram, and it sounds fantastic, right? Even compared to an original, I've got an original here. Even compared to an original, it stands its own, right? This is an original. It's in excellent condition, and as I say, sometimes I don't know which one to play. You know what I mean? I like both. Only thing is that this one is really inexpensive. They're all over the place, but be careful to have to find a minty copy, right? Because that's in quiet parts, and you might get clicks and pops, and it might not be as good as it looks. Never judge vinyl by the look of it. Sometimes you get really nasty surprises, right? The vinyl might look shiny and very good, and once you play it, it's full of it's a disaster, right? So if you can just play a little bit or buy from reputable sellers. As I said, the only difference here is the price, but still the Bernie Grunmans are affordable. You can find them on online shops, and you won't regret it. Here's another one I talked about recently. That was a rare surprise to me. That's the Yes album. That's the 75th anniversary edition, Acoustic Sounds, double album, 45 RPM, and this is the best sounding copy I've ever heard. And that's also even comparing it to a first pressing. Here is a British first pressing, right? From back in the day. It is in very good condition. It's called, the UK plums, right, because of the colour of the label. And I don't like how the first pressing sounds. To me, it sounds bright, it's over the top, and not a very nice listening. I was never a true fan of this album, and I've come to the conclusion that it was because of the sound. Right? Because when I heard the Atlantic, it was a really nice experience. Right now, I like the album a lot. Genesis. This is Seconds Out, the double live album. This is the original, and I never really liked the way it sounded. To me, it sounded very distant and far away, and muffled at some points. But I never heard anything better till Abbey Road put out this wonderful reissue. I'm not a fan of Abbey Road reissues either, but this one, to me, it sounds excellent, right? Of course, the basics are very well done, right? The jacket, right? The inner sleeves, everything is down to the minutest detail. But this album is alive. The other one is just dull, distant, and not very present. This one is the music really shines through. You can hear the drums, you can hear the bass pedal, Mike Rutherford's bass pedal. The voices are clear. It is very dynamic. I think I played it 2 or 3 times in a row when I first bought it. And as I said, even though it comes from a digital source, I think this is very, very well done. Another usual suspect, another one everyone knows, right? Supertramp, Crime of the Century, right? That's the speaker's current reissue. Unfortunately, this is out of print and prices are through the roof. So, I mean, I can't really recommend you buying a copy since that will be in the hundreds. I bought it when it came out. It was about 25 or 30. It is a fantastic sounding album. I wouldn't say better than the UK first press. I've got a first press here. I wouldn't say better, but it's certainly. I mean, the separation, the presence is just fantastic, right? And the dynamics, especially the dynamics of this album. They're better copies. Some people tell me out there, NFSL, MoFi. I've never heard them, so I can't compare. And well, the final two. Let's keep this video short. Bob Dylan monos. I got the whole collection. This is the just to show you one. Bring it all back home. They were put out in 2010, if memory serves. They're very well done. 180 grams as well. The label has been reproduced, right, with the two eye symbols, and it sounds fantastic. It is a fantastic sounding mono album, especially if you can play mono and if you have a switch on your amplifier or Y cable. Right? Dylan's presence here, when you get to Desolation Road, it gives you the goosebumps. The whole collection is like that, right? This one was remastered by George Marino, and I think Sundays in the States did their own mastered by Kevin Gray. I've heard both. They're different, but they're both very well done. And it was very cheap when it came out. It was like I don't know, 15, 20. So you can see how things can be properly done when companies want to. And last but not least, the Beatles. I think that the Beatles mono albums from 2014, they set the standard of how reissues must be done. The boys have done it again. At first, it wasn't a limited edition, so I didn't rush into it. I started buying, instead of buying the mono box, which was quite dear to me at the time. I bought them individually, so I took my time. So when I completed the whole collection, I've just got one copy of each except Revolver. I thought, well, let's get another copy because at those prices, it was a steal. And you know what? After a year and a half or so, when I tried to buy a second copy, they were all gone. And now people are screaming for a reissue, and I certainly understand that. I've got originals of the Beatles album, mono originals, stereo originals. Some people might say they prefer the 1960s pressings. I mean, of course, right? They sound fantastic, but it's really difficult to get, first of all, not to get ripped off by several sellers, and secondly, if you get a good copy, still you want to keep it in good condition and you don't play them much. You see, the funny thing is that I don't prefer the whole catalogue, the original whole catalogue, to the 2014. There are two records that I prefer on the 2014 version, and that tells you how good a reissue can be, right? One is Rubber Soul. I prefer the 2014. It's quite close to the original, but it's got a little bit more bass, and I like that extra bass that they added to it. I don't know whether it was necessary or not, but to me it makes it smoother and more engaging. And the most surprising one, the White Album. I've got a 1968 first pressing. Well, the second batch of the first pressing that came with the light green apple, right? I'm not going to lie about this. It cost me a lot of money. But I'm a Beatles fan and I wanted to have a copy. It's got the poster, it's got the pictures, and it's on these light green label, right, that you can see here. I think this is, some people say it's the second pressing, other people say it's the second batch of the first pressing, but matrices are -1 on all four sides, right? So to me, that's as good as the first pressing. And it is not my favorite. I prefer the 2014. For the same reason, I find it to be a little bit less harsh, and the bass is really smooth and very well sounding. They've reproduced the whole thing to every detail you can think of, right? But this one is, of course, in mint condition, 180 grams. And this sounds really, really good, right? They're pricey, but not as bad as you may think, right? You can buy a very good price copy because people that buy these albums take good care of them. Somewhere in the region of 80 or 90s, certainly for half of the price or even a third of the price of the first pressing. Right, so that's basically what I wanted to say. Now you can see both sides of the fence. Let me know what you think about this on your comments. And of course, please share information with us and tell us about reissues that you think are really worth the cash and that you recommend to the vinyl community. That's all for today. Thanks for your time and take care.